Halalim La Yahaba Hashem Yashab Hashem Rahakodash, and double honest to great Muslim apostles. Thouday Yahweh, for giving the strength in order to make this video as well. And Halalim La, meaning all praises to Yahweh, being the name of the Most High, and Yahweh being the name of the Messiah as well, of which is not a so-called white guy who's hanging on the wall of the Christian church. But the point is Yahweh being a so-called black man in worldly terms. And of course, getting to the point of the video, all these things that I'm saying really is just for the new brothers and sisters who may be potentially watching the video too. So, and it's getting to the point, the vain conversation of the heathen, which is really just a minor video, because you know, when you're having conversations with heathens, you know, you may realize a few things sometimes. Because in fact, I'll just go straight to the point. There was an Ishmaelite that I met well, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. Then I was playing table tennis with a friend of mine. Then as we were playing table tennis, he was pretty much talking to me, the Ishmaelite. He was talking to me about all his achievements of the world, man. Talking about the fact that, because as I said, we were playing table tennis before. I was playing table tennis before. And he told me he used to be some kind of a champion, or he used to coach people in that sense, in that sport, table tennis. So that was one thing, and he told me of all the communities that he's helped before as well, and pretty much some other achievements that he's listed too, you know, all throughout his life. Because I asked him what's his age, and then it's around, I think he was in his late 40s or something. Yeah, probably late 40s. So, you know, obviously he had his own achievements to list. I mean, I didn't really know the guy, so I don't know, he just felt the need to really say so. But the reason I was making the video was because, as the title says, vain conversation of the heathen. Because if you really boil it down, as they are achieving what they want in this world, the thing is, these are just temporal things, man, which I'll get scripture based on that too. These are only temporal things, meaning they're temporary. And them being temporary, obviously they don't last long. They're only here for a moment, and then they go the next moment. And that moment right now, which it currently exists, is in Esau's world. And in Esau's world, that's where the Heathen will then come after. Because as we know, Esau's world, Esau's rulership is destined for that destruction, man. There's nuclear missiles to hit Babylon and all the other major cities in the world as well, in support of Babylon too. So, let me actually get the scripture about temporal things, because we know, as well, I'll still bring out that scripture as well. You know, the vain conversation of the heathen, man. You know, heathens are out here, they may own a business and whatnot, making millions, making billions. At the end of the day, those businesses will fall, and they will really be regarded as nothing in the kingdom, all the achievements. And that's why we shouldn't really bother too much about trying to achieve too many things in this world, because at the end of the day, they'll all be wiped out through the fire, man. Because Yahweh, when his kingdom is then set up, all that is before in Esau's kingdom will then be destroyed. Let me get it. Yeah, so this is 2 Corinthians 4 verse 18. While we look not at things which are seen, but at things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal, man. And of course, our foresight, you know, as we're in this truth, tells us that we're supposed to focus on things that are eternal, man. When a brother has a house here, that house is going to be destroyed. Ultimately, at the end of the day, either destroyed or probably both anyways, destroyed, and also you're going to have to leave it when the time of the mark of the beast comes, where freedoms are going to be restricted, brothers are going to be thrown into concentration camps, and all sorts of pressure is going to be on brothers as well, man. Hence why, you know, you may have, like, you know, a little thing, you know, you may have a good house or whatnot, you know, got a family going and everything. But at the same time, the scriptures say, pertaining to family, those who have lost wives, sisters, or brethren, they get 100-fold in the kingdom, man. When that's in Matthew 19, you get 100-fold. And also, in terms of rewards as well, Again, pertaining to that scripture that I read just now, 2 Corinthians 4 verse 18, about not focusing on temporal things that are seen. Because right now, what you're seeing right now, it will not exist in the kingdom. Everything's going to get a complete reset to them. And even the trees right now, even the darn trees, they don't even look too lively right now. They do not look too lively, especially during the winter months, because it's March right now. Obviously getting closer to spring, but the trees are pretty much not in that lively state as they should be. I remember watching a testimony as well of a brother saying that his girlfriend had a dream about 2 years ago about the kingdom, really, city of gold. I know that's going to be a rare sight to see. You're never going to see a city of gold in Esau's kingdom, man. And when Yahushua's kingdom is then set up, that's when all the how can I say this? All the flourishing that's supposed to happen, it will actually happen. The trees are going to feel more lively. They're going to grow taller, because I think what was mentioned as well in the dream was the fact that the trees were actually super tall as well. So of course, that's something that you don't always see unless you go to like the Amazon or something, some kind of a jungle. But trees that were super tall. Because usually in Esau's kingdom right now, I mean, obviously I don't know about most brothers in America or UK or in other countries as well, Holland, Germany, or whatnot. You don't always like have the opportunity to even see like a full-on, strong, thick, tall tree, in its own essence. If you brothers know what I mean. Because looking at the trees right now, man, they're not that lively. Everything's just reflecting the wicked vibration of Esau, man. That weak vibration of Esau. But anyways, going back to the point of going conversation with the heathen, their achievements are really nothing in the grand scheme of things. They're just nothing. So, of course, as the Israelite was talking to me, he didn't really know that I was thinking that. But oftentimes, brothers, we may come across a heathen. That heathen may be quite prideful, proud of his achievements, not knowing that all of those will be smited. They will not matter in the grand scheme of things. And they may even how can I even say it? They may even put that as a work of their own idol, if you know what I mean. They'll praise their idol because, as I said, it's an Ishmaelite. It's an Ishmaelite, so they got their own idol that they serve. So when they start putting it, praising their own idol because of the fact that the idol helped them to do it, they don't realize that as well is also vain too. Because as the scriptures say, man, the gods of the people, of the heathen, are idols. Salakia, and also Salakia means forgive me or sorry. So that's just the basic ancient Hebrew brothers normally say. Wait. Should be here. Right. Let's see. So I got it here, Psalms 96 verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord Yahweh made the heavens. The only power that truly exists is the power of Israel, man. That's all that will be fact at the end of the day. And again, pertaining to the vain conversation of the heathen, I said the Ishmaelite would then put it to his idol. Without his idol, he wouldn't be able to achieve it, which is really what he's saying. You don't realize it, obviously, but I'm just saying, when you come across heathens, getting proud about their works, not knowing that their works are vain at the end of the day. I guess it was just a topic to speak about, Akim. That's why I made the video. For all the gods, Psalms 96 verse 5, for all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord Yahweh made the heavens. He made the heavens, man. You got the heavens here on earth, you got the heavens, which is space, That's the second heaven. You got the third heaven, which is I think the Akim referred to as the fourth dimension, where the spirits dwell. Yahweh dwells, while Yahweh Shai as well. All these things will then come into the knowledge of eventually, man. Because right now we know certain things, certain breakdowns of the scriptures, certain understanding of the chariots as well, from Ezekiel chapter 1, and we know certain things, but we'll be more knowledgeable when Yahushua then comes as well to then remind us of the things of which we knew formerly, because that goes into reincarnation if you can receive it, if you can understand it. So really it's just about talk about the pride of the heathen, man, because they don't realize the worthlessness of their works, which is just the point of this video. Because at times, when you realize, in fact, speaking of worthlessness, I was gonna get a scripture pertaining to them. Let me get Isaiah 40. There's a drop that fallen from a bucket or something. Isaiah 40, verse 15, because I wrote down some precepts as well before the lesson. And obviously, don't let the pride of heathens get to you, man. Imagine in a movie such as Superman, I think there was this scene where, he was working a normal job, man, a normal job in a pub or bar. Then a heathen, of course they're all heathens really, but another guy tried to tempt him pretty much, tried to bully him, let's just say that. Then I think he threw some kind of some water or a drink or some kind of food at him. He was at the verge of getting frustrated, man, but he calmed down and he left, man, because he knew. When I say I'm talking about Superman. So okay, let me actually clarify what happened. So Superman in his normal attire, typical guy in the pub doing his job for the work. Then a guy in the pub, in a bar, they threw food at him just to try and annoy him, basically. And that guy, and Superman really, he took a deep breath and he pretty much left work that day. He did, because he knew it wasn't worth his time to deal with. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because at times, heathens may say things that try to trigger you, but then in the grand scheme of things, if you don't realize their worthlessness, their low value, of course you realize it's really not worth your time, man. It's honestly not worth your time. At times you just gotta take that deep breath and then just leave the flipping heathen to be in their own delusion. Then when that fateful day comes, when Yahushua comes, that's when everyone's gonna mellow down. Everyone. I'm talking about heathens as well. Of course heathens. Heathens gonna mellow down, 2/3 gonna mellow down. Well, it's a day of great terror, man. The nuclear missiles flying left, right, different countries, to different states in America, burning up the place. Day of fear, where you have spirits of vengeance, creatures of vengeance as well, which people have not seen yet, roaming around. You got Leviathan in Job 41. All these things and all the other prophecies to bring more terror upon the faces of the heathen as well. When you don't realize that, and you also do realize as well of the incorruptible body, of which Yahushua has promised those who do serve him. Let me actually get a twinkling of an eye. When you do realize that we're going to be in bodies where we're truly going to actually have the measurement of worthlessness to the heathens, and of course you realize they're really a waste of time right now. So you got to take that deep breath and just allow it to go. Ultimately, in that day, the power of Israel is going to come back, man, all through Yahushua. That's why we say Kahal Alimla, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushua, Bahasham Rachakodash. Bahasham means in the name, and Yahushua obviously being the mediator between us right now on earth and the Father, because we need Yahushua to get to Yahweh, man. We need that chance to get that salvation and get out of it, because prison ain't comfortable, man. That's just the truth. Prison is not comfortable, as the scriptures say. In fact, before I get that, let me get the twinkling of an eye. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. And if you go into we shall be changed, which means we're going to transition from weak bodies, weak, feeble bodies, into incorruptible, which means the ones where you don't feel pain, they don't break. You're not going to have broken bones or wrists if you go for a run, if you choose to. And we're going to have that spiritual power as well, man. And in that moment, that transition, heathens truly are going to be worthless and nothing in comparison to us. A spittle. Now let me get Isaiah 40 verse 15. I'm not sure if I even got that previously, but let me actually get it this time. It's all for the edification anyways. So this is Isaiah 40 verse 15. It says, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the hours as a very little thing. Meaning, the heathen nations are really insignificant. That's ultimately what that scripture is referring to. So if the heathens are then insignificant right now, as we are in this state as well, obviously we're still in feeble state, but they're ultimately significant in the eyes of the Most High. And I don't know if certain Aki may remember the dream, of which actually no, I don't even think it was a dream. I think a testimony of one of the brother's wives. He was talking to, I guess, a patient or something. I think this was like 1 or 2 years ago. A patient, and then the patient was an Edomite, and then the Edomite was just telling her about his dream of how the Most High treats certain nations above, well, not certain nations, but rather he doesn't treat everyone the same. That's ultimately the point. And we know automatically Israel is above all other nations, man. Israel was chosen out of all other nations. Let me get that. Israel was chosen out of all other nations, man. So of course, being a heathen in that insignificance in Isaiah 40 verse 15, of course one should be more cautious. They should really be more cautious of how they treat Jake around here, man. Of course, we know we're still in captivity. I mean, we're still under the curses right now, so we've got to endure our punishment from Yahweh Shem Yahshai. But ultimately, it won't be forever, man. We're coming close to an end where things are going to be flipped over. We won't be weak. We won't be downtrodden. I think put down by the heathen. We're also having to let things go because of Esau society, which pretty much puts up heathens above Jake, and of course puts up women above Jake as well. And that's why Israel, most Israelite families, the father leaves, man. The father leaves either for multiple reasons, man. But anyways, that's not the topic for today's video. But really, it all goes down to the curses of Deuteronomy 28, man. It's all part of a punishment why we're not able to flourish in the family or even succeed. And yeah, man. But the point is, at the end of the day, it's all coming to a close, man. Where that mercy will come, and Yahweh Shem Yahshai Ratazah, meaning Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, willing, that we get that salvation, man. We get into those chariots. So, wait, it should be here. So it says, Deuteronomy 14 verse 2, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and the Lord Yahweh hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth, man. So it means above all other nations, man. Imagine that. Imagine being born an Israelite, because we don't truly realize the significance of being an Israelite on this earth right now. Because right now, Jake, of course referring to Israel, Israelites right now don't really see themselves as anything really. They just see themselves as an average heathen. That's really what it is. And anyways, that proves to you right there that the Most High is not even, he's not with equality. He's up for separation, man. A group of people being above a group of people, a certain order of things where one is higher than the other, one's more powerful than the other, one has more authority than the other. That's the order. Even amongst the 144,000, man, in the time to come, there's going to be order too. And of course, that's going to be clarified by Yahushua in the kingdom. Well, the point is, man, heathens may get prideful, with their achievements, and they may even say things because of how proud they are, or I don't know what kind of demon may be on them, because demons can still use their vessels. Really, if they're insignificant, they can still use their vessels to then try and tempt you to do things, or rather just piss you off to get you angry. But the point is, we shouldn't really not everything that the heathen says should be something that we just take action towards or try and react to or respond to, because at most of the time it's really worthlessness. Again, it all goes down to the topic of today's video, the vain conversation of the heathen. The vain conversation of the heathen. In fact, speaking of vain conversation, worthless conversation as well, pertaining to their worthlessness, let me get the other scripture that I wrote down. I think I'll say this one, then I'll close out. Leviticus 25, verse 44. Yeah, man. So Leviticus chapter 25, verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about ye. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. So again, that proves right there, going into their worthlessness, we're going to use them as slaves. That's ultimately what it is. That's prophecy as well. It says, both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have. Because obviously we're going to have slaves in the kingdom. Pertaining to that 1,000-year prophecy, I think in Revelation. In Revelation, where we're going to have the heathens as our slaves, man. And of course, Israelites in this truth got to be ready of the fact that in the kingdom, we're actually going to have people to command over. Akim, brothers are going to have the commands. Brothers are going to have the overseeing command, really, over their wives, over the heathen slaves, and over, what else? Over everything, really. And of course, each brother to what they're allocated to, too. Because, Yahushua is going to put a certain order in things. Whereas, like, this brother can take care of this brother takes care of that. And every brother to their own responsibility in the kingdom to come. And, as I said, there's going to be order even amongst the 144,000, man. So, let's see. But anyways, the point, let me actually, I think that was Leviticus 25, verse 44, man. That they're going to be our bondmaids and bondwomen. They're going to be our slaves. That's really the point. So someone who's destined to be a slave, all their achievements in Esau's world is basically worthless speaking. That's ultimately what this video is, what I'm talking about in this video. All by the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua through the scriptures too. So again, it's just a worthless conversation of the heathen, man. Can't really be letting things affect us like this. And also, man, it's just a temporal state, man. It's not going to be forever. So, anyways, Ka Halal Imla, Ya Bashem Yahshua Bashem Rakha Kudash. I'm double honest to great Muslim apostles. Thought of Yahshua for the strength in order to make this video as well. And I hope you brothers are also edified too. But yeah, Shalom.